Create no casualties. Take no casualties and create no casualties. Casualties are people that get injured in the wake of an event, something serious, an accident or incident. Could be even a war. And then people that get injured or hurt during the process are casualties. You don't want to be creating casualties. When you're going through certain things, sometimes you're in a transition, you're moving. God has revealed some things to you. God is dealing with your heart, or you may be in the middle of something that's messy that's going on, whether it's in your family, whether it's in your ministry, whether it's on your job. Do not create casualties in the process. When you're being led by God, you need to hear from God, and you need to move strategically the way he tells you to move. And guys, sometimes this may mean not trying to defend yourself, not trying to tell your part of the story, not trying to tell what happened. Unless the Lord tells you to do this, don't do this. Because, and especially in ministry, I remember this when the Lord pulled me out of a church officially, and it was going to be my last Sunday. The Lord told me exactly what I needed to do. And one of the things was, I was not going to tell anyone that it was my last Sunday. I was not going to be explaining to anyone why I left. And I followed the Lord to the letter. I followed every direction he gave me, because one of the things was that I created no casualties. You know, sometimes when people get hurt in church or by family or on the job, when they're leaving or when things are going on, because they're in their flesh and they're in their feelings, they feel the need to tell what happened, to, to flip some tables, and tell, to uncover things and to tell what the person did and what they didn't do. And, they want to defend themselves. They want to say what was a lie and what was not. They want to show the screenshots. They want to, begin to call up people and tell people what happened, post things on their social media. And what that does, guys, is that when they are babes in the Lord, newborns, or people that's already weak in the faith, you can cause them to fall away. You can cause them to have doubts, especially if they still admire and have great respect for the people that maybe you have discovered they're not so great. It is not necessary for you or I to pull the covers back on anybody, calling them out by name, right? Because God is going to do that. You don't want to uproot and hurt people in the process of your transition or in the middle of your own battles. And so the Lord wants you to move the way he tells you to do, the way he tells you to move, do things the way he tells you to do it, and not get into trying to prove yourself, not getting into slinging mud, and definitely not creating casualties by getting people involved where they feel like they are in the middle, where they begin to doubt their faith, where they are uncomfortable because they know stuff, they don't know what to tell you, and they don't know what they're supposed to withhold from someone else. Don't do that. People, you have got to learn to walk in faith and trust God. If the Lord has told you to leave a ministry, it's not necessary for you to tell people why you're leaving. If the Lord did not tell you to tell people, and a lot of times he's not going to have you telling people what happened and why and who did what. You just go. It's just time to go. Whatever they will learn and whatever they will know, they will know it. It will be discovered. It will be opened to them. So unless the Lord has laid it on your heart to say something, don't. Do not create casualties in the midst of your hurt and your pain. Do not try to fight your battles your way and in your flesh. It's going to get messy and you are going to hurt people around you. Those of you that you say that you're children of God, there's a way that we have to conduct ourselves and behave ourselves. If things are going on in the family, you don't necessarily need to get on the phone and tell the family what happened and everybody knows what's going on. It's just a flare. Now, granted, as family, sometimes, you may talk to your siblings about something. But when things are truly getting messy, when God is pulling you from something and that family member is going around and lying and saying things about you, you don't need to engage by saying what they said and it's getting messy because you're creating casualties. If you allow the Lord to fight your battles, you will see how you'll be vindicated. Let me tell you something. You don't need to try to prove what people did. You don't have to try to prove that they were lying on you, because a lot of times you will find that people will be telling lies on you, telling their side of the story, telling the story their way. And you have to be in a place that you are at peace in God, because you know, especially when you know you have done no wrong, especially when you know that even if you did wrong, you did apologize, you did try to make things right, you did try genuinely to make amends, and they will not accept it, then you can go forward in the Lord in peace. But what's important, guys, is that you take no casualties. You create no casualties on your way out. You understand that? Create no casualties. It's so tempting to want to say what you want to say. It's so tempting to want to swing on somebody. It's so tempting to want to prove your point. It's so tempting to want to get back and say back and post the truth and send screenshots and send messages and send out that mass email. But you have to think of the souls that are in the balance. Sometimes what you may do or what you may say will cause more hurt and pain. You'll be rooting up the wheat while you're trying to get to the tares. And you don't want to do that. That is not our job. You leave people to God. Create no casualties. This is what I hear. Somebody needs to hear this. Create no casualties. Let the Lord fight your battles.